Well, it's an exciting day here at the Drum Labs, this venue, which includes Corner Shop, which I'm sitting in now, which is the retail unit of the future, because we have 3 special guests who are coming along to talk about the future of retail. And these guests are Richard Atkins, who is head of digital production at BBH. We also have Katie Allison, who is the media strategy manager at Marks and Spencer's. And we have Nigel Fong, who is the head of UK sales at Waze. Waze. That actually gave us a bit of an idea, because we thought, well, rather than send an Uber to collect our guests, why don't we do something more interesting that clearly involves the Waze app, because the Waze app has some fascinating implications for the retail sector. More of that later. But once we got there, we decided, well, not only use Waze, why don't we actually get a really interesting mode of transport? We contacted our friends at Citroen and we asked them to send us their most advanced, stylish, most technologically interesting concept car. Something that could get me around town in a way that befits a leading media executive like myself, obviously. So they took that brief on board, and finally they sent us, they basically sent us this. Look at that. Yes, here you have it. It's a Citroen Ami. Apparently one of the most advanced little town cars there is. They believe this is going to transform urban driving. The whole idea of this car is really, really efficiently built. In fact, excuse me for a moment, I'm going to go all Jeremy Clarkson on you, although I suspect he would not be seen dead behind the wheel of this. Well, you might have noticed that it's a very, very dinky front. And that dinky front is exactly the same as the dinky back. And there's also a very dinky door. This is a dinky door here. And then this dinky door opens in the opposite direction of that dinky door over there. And then getting inside the car, you're talking about something pretty simple, but what it is absolutely perfect for is driving in London, which is what we're going to do now. However, there's been one flaw in my amazing plan. What I hadn't anticipated was that our advanced concept car would only have 1 seat with 3 guests. Luckily, Nigel's going to make his own way here, and luckily again, Richard and Katie are actually in the Shoreditch area, so I'm going to pick them up and give them a taste of what the future of transport is like. See you in a minute.
In 0.1 mile, turn left.
So we're on our way to see Richard Atkins, who is the head of digital production, and he's also a partner at BBH. And amongst his many clients is Tesco, so he's a real expert in retail.
Turn left.
Ah, there we go, we have arrived. Amazing. Right.
Gordon.
Hello, how are you doing?
That is genius.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. How is it?
It's great actually. It's very good turning circles, quite nippy.
Right, I'm going to just jump straight in.
Right, come on. And we're off.
Oh, you can feel it a bit.
Yeah, you can. One thing I was reading in your LinkedIn profile is that you're an endurance runner.
I have a niece that's got cystic fibrosis, so I do lots of things to raise money for that. So yeah, I've been very lucky to run all around the world.
Yeah. So I could drop you off now, couldn't I? And then race you back to the office.
Well, with the traffic the way it is, who knows? But Waze will change you around and get you there faster.
Yeah.
I'd almost need Waze for running.
Talking of Waze, in what other ways, so to speak, do you use it?
So I use it personally all the time when I'm leaving London.
Yeah.
Waze is so good at changing the route whilst you're actually out there driving.
Yeah, points us out in 0.6 miles.
Exactly, look.
Roadworks, traffic, it's great. Well, it's the ultimate in terms of contextual advertising, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it knows your location, it knows your previous locations.
Exactly, I mean that's a bit more, that's like a step further than having a regular radio ad or something like that you might have. Yeah. And you can link all those things back up as well. It's just it's really clever, and it's constantly evolving and moving forwards. And as we move into 5G and better connection and better download speeds, the capabilities of what it's doing and what we can just generally do is much better. This is all done through your smartphone.
It's amazing how far we've come, because one of the things that I've actually show you, the nostalgia about that.
This is great. But I remember using stuff. And, I mean, I don't want to be here going, right, hang on a second. I want to be here, I want to start zooming in. But that's, that's my eyesight.
And another thing is that wherever you want to go is always in the gap.
Yes.
But do you think retailers have got the most to gain from using this sort of in-car marketing? I don't know where I'm going here, but
I think that marketing will always try and find different avenues. Yeah. It's another medium in which to get to your audience. Mm-hmm. And the great thing with what Waze can do is it can do it contextually relevant about where you are, who you are, have a lot of information about you, so that we can just make sure that the ad that we put in front of the end user isn't completely pointless.
And it's ideal when it actually moves into sort of mobile medium, where you know where the consumer
you've got
is going, where they've been, and you're quite happy to share that
and you want to try and do it in a completely non-creepy way, because there's a huge amount of challenges around privacy, data security, and things like that. But you can do that in a way that people don't even realise that level of targeting is happening, just by saying, "Oh, you're driving from here to there. Would you be interested in this product or in this type of thing?" Whether that's a petrol station or a coffee.
Now here we are, just coming up to the Drum Labs.
Great.
So the plan is, I think I'm going to drop you off here. And I'll go and get Katie.
Gordon, thanks very much.
No, pleasure. I'll see you in about 20 minutes.
See you in about 20 minutes.
Well, at last.
Hello there. Ooh.
Turn right.
That's me.
Is that you? I was just wondering that. How have you got that?
You can put your own voice in.
Can you?
You can start shouting at yourself, or you don't get as frustrated.
You had lots of people staring.
And we're off. Yeah, there were a lot of people waving.
I was going to say, this is quite a different car for London.
Yeah, what do you think? If you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Feels like London's answer to like an electric scooter.
Obviously, you're head of media.
I'm leading the media for M&S Food. So, yeah, it's a new role actually that I've just come into.
In media now, you are moving away from traditional channels.
Yeah.
But something like Waze must have been something you're looking at as well.
I mean, TV is still a really important channel for us. It still plays such a sort of predominant role in our media mix, but we're definitely understanding like the importance of diversifying and bringing digital and social much more sort of at the forefront of our planning. So yeah, that is definitely where tools like Waze come in. We particularly use digital just to be really reactive and sort of responsive to trade. Just in general, being able to sort of reach customers on the go is really important for us.
If your objective is to drive traffic into stores, there must be a better opportunity than be able to sort of advertise in traffic.
Absolutely. So Waze, I mean, is the best tool for us because it's really about reaching people on the go and hopefully sort of enticing them to come into store.
Yeah. So what sort of specific treatments did you do in the campaign? You're obviously using the fact that you know where people are.
We've done quite a lot of testing on the platform, which I think Waze have been really good in helping us sort of pioneer. Weather targeting was a really good one we did when it's sort of below 16 degrees, targeting people with dine-in messaging, and then above 16 degrees would be like barbecue and grill ranges. So really trying to be really relevant on the platform, I guess, and show the right products to people and what sort of mindset they would be in for that day. We've done a lot of day part targeting, so really going after certain propositions in the evening. But I think the best part about Waze, which it probably sets it apart from other apps, is originally we really wanted to go after people that were like on their staycations over summer, people that were in areas that they didn't know where they were going. So we'd definitely be using navigation apps, which I do think is a really, core element of the campaign. But I use Waze like every day, and particularly around London, because I obviously know where I'm going, but I just want to get there the quickest way. Actually, I think that's what sort of sets it apart, and that's why we really go after people making their like daily journeys, because we know that it's not just people that are in like unfamiliar areas. It's people that are, probably making their daily commutes to work or their daily pickup on the school run, but they're using the app because they don't want to sit in traffic all day.
Yeah. How do you quantify the benefits of it?
This is something generally across all of our media planning that we're really trying to get on the forefront of, is trying to prove like the incremental return of our media activity, which is so difficult when we're driving footfall into stores. For Waze, what's great is there's so many sort of insights that you can actually see on the platform. Lots of really interesting tools above and beyond the sort of standard media metrics that you'd see. They show us stuff like, the volume of people that are searching for M&S's on the platform and how that sort of stands in regard to other grocers, which we're always, super interested in, is where we sit sort of within our competitor set, particularly on the apps, how many people are even just genuinely making searches for grocers. And Waze really helps us with that. So really sort of tries to show us how our sort of share on the platform has evolved over the time. And, since our recent campaigns, we've actually seen a real big benefit in that. So we saw our sort of share of searches on Waze grow by over sort of 50% since going live, which is amazing. And I think that's sort of the key really, is to have like a always on and constant presence to sort of keep growing that market share. But I think, incremental return is definitely something that we're tasking Waze to help us with, to sort of really try and prove that it's working. But I think stuff like the search tool has been really helpful in that.
Yeah, I know we basically have arrived. This is the Drum Labs.
Are you going to drive in? Is that the plan?
Well, I might drive in, yes, that is the plan. We are going to drive in.
Are you actually going to?
Eventually.
Here we go.
Hello there.
Well, is this what you guys have been having fun with all day? I've got you a coffee, by the way, Katie.
Thanks very much.
Don't spill it. Don't
Very
spill it in
kind
that
of
car.
you.
Very fancy. So are we going into the studio now? Should we head in?
Yeah.
Let's head in.
Come join us.
Well, we've finally made it. Here we are at the Drum Labs, and I should introduce Nigel Fung, who is the UK sales lead for Waze.
Indeed, yes.
And we've obviously been talking about Waze a lot in our little journey. The thing that ties everything together is evolution, because I think Waze is fair, just shows how information systems have evolved in cars. So your business has evolved over the last couple of years or so.
I think my role in particular has definitely evolved as we're sort of understanding how all of our media channels can really help us drive footfall into our stores. We've got our sort of main broadcast channels, which are really key, important channels for us, but we're definitely trying to understand how digital and social can really help us on that journey. The biggest objective of our marketing is to really drive footfall into stores, how social and digital channels can help us with that when we don't have that sort of end-to-end sales journey, I guess, and being able to measure that as easily as you would with sort of a website. So working with partners like Waze to try and understand how these channels are helping us.
I suppose Waze is is very much at the sort of cutting edge of how all sorts of marketing is evolving, but anything specific you've noticed over the last couple of years?
I mean, the last couple of years for us, you can imagine, has been a bit of a roller coaster. So obviously lack of mobile usage or lack of usage of cars has obviously knocked our business and our users to some degree, but the numbers are creeping back up again. So we've broken our record of 4 million monthly active users. So it's nice to see everybody after the pandemic jumping and using Waze as their main GPS in cars. And I think the transformation of how we worked with our advertising partners have really become quite clear, identifying certain types of locations, so things like drive-through locations, click and collect service locations. So these are like the evolution of type of retail spaces.
That's great. And Richard, obviously you're in an interesting position because obviously you do a bit of work for Tesco, but at BBH you're working across the board.
So I look after digital production for all of our clients, and under the pandemic, some of our clients literally stopped working because they're customer-facing, getting people into stores, and those stores are closed. So they suddenly stopped. Tesco, on the other hand, actually massively stepped up its volume of advertising, but a lot of that wasn't necessarily moving product. It was to be there for the nation as one of the major grocers, like Marks and Spencer's, where we need to tell people how to get food, how to be safe about getting things. So there's a lot about COVID communications and just making sure that people felt that there was space and safe to get their groceries and other products that they needed. Since then, as we're coming out, and also pre-pandemic, I've always been involved in how do we make sure that the messaging from our client gets out to the right user in the right way, And Waze is one of those partners that we work with to do that.
For us, it's still a learning curve because we engage with drivers on the go, and reality is the only existing platforms where you can connect with drivers on the go is outdoor, traditional outdoor roadside, and radio. So connecting with drivers on the go on a digital device is a relatively new paradigm. You know, there's probably only Spotify that really has that engagement with the driver on the go, whereas our ads are very much one-to-one. So it's not one-to-many like radio and outdoor.
And I think also something we've learned for the pandemic is that like our customers are expecting more from us as grocers and as retailers. We're using apps like Waze to really be super targeted and relevant and showing people, you know, this is the experience you're going to get when you go into that local store. And I think that's just what consumers expect these days.
You talk about evolution, and it's like, you know, I'm still quite amazed about some of the things that we can go and do. And as smartphones get better and better, and you get 5G and bigger download speeds and faster connections, that's great. And it then allows us to then do stuff that we couldn't do 5 years, 10 years ago. But the next generation, they just expect this stuff to work. And it's almost like, if it's not there, get rid of it. Don't want it. You know, it's very much, I want the information, I want it now, and I want all the stuff that I don't even know that I want.
They're also, I want you to know when I want to know this.
Can you give us any insights into, how effective this is? You know, what evidence you have that shows that, you know, this knowledge of no matter where people are going, where they are, where they've been, is actually, you know, effective?
The success metrics we look at is, you mentioned earlier, Gordon, the right message at the right time to the right person. Obviously, we try to home in on that. We do that a lot, really well, with both M&S and the guys at BBH and Tesco. We can see that based on the engagement rates, what targeted ad content are we running, and we can see how that resonates well to people engaging with those ads. But more importantly, so if people are navigating to M&S or Tesco, and then you run a campaign, what is that lift? So we see that, we see the evidence. We see what is the right message at the right time with the right person based on what type of journey and how that affects inevitably footfall.
I suppose there's a whole new stream of information, isn't it, you would normally be able to get hold of?
Yeah, even just like understanding like consumer behaviour in terms of like who goes onto the Waze app and searches for an M&S specifically, or are they actually searching for, I just need a grocer near me? Or like, what is that sort of mindset when you're going to a supermarket? Like, do you just need convenience? Are you just looking for your nearest one? Or actually, are you looking for a mega store? Like, what are those sort of...
And how brand loyal are you?
Yeah.
It's all very interesting stuff, but it's all rooted in, Waze is obviously very much rooted in the car. I didn't actually ask, what did you actually think of the car?
It's a bit TARDIS-like. There's a lot of room on the inside.
Well, the interesting thing, I think it might actually become a bit of a game changer. I think all the manufacturers are looking at alternative ownership models. You know, I suspect rumours of the car's demise have been much exaggerated. I do think the car is going to be key, and I also think it's got the power to, you know, redefine, you know, how we live in terms of how cities work, you know, how roads work. But from your point of view, 10 years ago, we're still reading A to Z, and now here we are with a sort of sophisticated Waze apps. So I suppose my last and final question is, where will we be in 10 years' time?
I think, well, things will be simplified. You'll just have your phones. You won't have broadband or anything like that because your phone will have more internet speed and everything else, and you'll just have, it will simplify contracts. Cars will be far more integrated with what you're doing.
All the statistics suggest that there will be more cars on the road and more traffic. The whole conversation about autonomous cities and autonomous vehicles, yes, that might become more advanced in cities like London and Paris and LA. But what about all the other conurbations, all the other small towns across every single country, even the most developed countries you can think of? I think there's more than just a decade or two away.
I'm going to go in the advertising one. I think in 10 years' time, we are going to find it even more difficult to speak to our consumers, and we're going to have to evolve and find even more engaging and more targeted and better ways to speak to our consumers than ever before. And I also think that, as a consumer, we're going to expect much more from our advertisers. We're going to expect to only be seeing stuff that is relevant to us.
Context is king, I felt from that, right?
Love that.
You like that? Never heard that one before.
Context is king, is that yours? I love that.
Perfect for Waze, really, I think, with the work that we guys do with you. So
context is king.
Yes.
Could I offer anyone a lift home?
One ride only, I suppose.
It have come back.
Yeah, you haven't the other go.
You
Yeah.
can take Kate home. We'll get the bus.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.